Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we journey to the edge of the world, where the sea keeps secrets, and a forgotten lighthouse holds the truth behind the keeper of forgotten dreams. They say the sea never forgets. It remembers every whisper of wind, every footprint washed from the shore, every name once called and long since lost. And if you listen closely, very closely, you can sometimes hear it murmuring its secrets in the hush between the waves, on a forgotten corner of the Scottish coast, where the cliffs rise like stone giants and gulls cry like ghosts. There stood a lighthouse, tall, silent, watching. The townsfolk called it Gull's Point. It had been there for over 100 years. Its lantern still blinked dutifully each night, a heartbeat of light in the fog, though no ships came that way anymore. And yet, someone still lit it. His name was Elias Wren. As the waves brushed the rocks below, the wind curled around the tower like a lullaby. The lantern blinked again, slow, steady, as if it, too, remembered. A faint foghorn sounded in the distance. Elias had been the Lighthouse Keeper for as long as anyone could remember. A thin, quiet man, with silver in his beard and sorrow in his eyes. He lived alone in the keeper's cottage beside the tower. No one knew much about him, not even the children, who sometimes dared each other to run up the path to the gates before the wind scared them back. He rarely came to the village. When he did, it was only to buy tea, candles, and paper. He never carried a phone, never asked questions, never stayed long. But every night, without fail, the light turned. And every morning, after the sun rose over the gray-blue sea, Elias wrote something in a leather-bound journal. No one saw the pages. No one dared to ask. The people said he was eccentric. Some said mad. A few whispered he was waiting for something, or someone that had been lost to the sea. But no one knew the truth, not even Elias himself. That night, the lantern flickered twice, an unusual blink pattern. He paused, looking up from the journal. Odd, he murmured. The sea remained silent. He returned to his writing, unaware that a storm was slowly forming far beyond the horizon. It was on the night of the blue moon, the second full moon in a month, when something changed. Elias had just finished winding the old gears of the lantern, the brass mechanisms creaking like bones. He lit the flame, watched it swell behind the glass, and turned toward the window. The sea was calm. Too calm, the kind of silence that presses against your chest and makes you forget to breathe. Then he saw it, something glimmering at the edge of the rocks, where the tide had just pulled back, a shape glassy and green. It hadn't been there earlier. He descended the stairs, slowly. The spiral steps echoed like whispers in a hollow shell. At the door, the wind hit him, cool and sharp, and brought with it the salt-heavy scent of something old. The object in the rocks was a bottle, sealed with red wax, perfectly intact. Inside, a scroll. Elias turned it in his hand. The wax bore a symbol, two waves curling into a spiral. He felt something stir in his memory, something he couldn't place. He took it inside, lit a candle, unrolled the scroll. There was no writing, only a drawing, a sketch of the lighthouse from above, with an arrow pointing not to the sea, but inward, beneath the keeper's cottage. His hands trembled. He stared at the paper until the flame burned low. The sea outside whispered again, like breath against glass. That night, Elias did not sleep. Instead, he walked barefoot across the creaky old boards of his cottage, the candle flickering in his hand. He paused where the arrow had pointed, at the hearthstone, long unused. He knelt, tapped the floor, hollow. He pulled away the rug, pried at the edge of the stone with an old fire poker. It groaned, resisted, and then shifted, revealing a dark square of earth beneath, a trapdoor. How had he never noticed? Inside, steep steps led down into the cold. He hesitated. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows like an omen. But something deeper than fear pulled him forward, a sense of remembering what he had never known. He descended. The air below smelled of seaweed and time. The candle revealed a chamber, stone-lined with shelves and bottles, hundreds of them, each sealed, each labeled with a date, each containing a scroll. His footsteps echoed like ripples in a dream. He whispered, "What is this place?" Elias chose one at random, May 11th, 1911, and opened it. Inside, a drawing of a woman standing on a cliff, her dress blowing in the wind. Beneath it, a name. For Nora. His breath caught. He didn't know a Nora. And yet, the name rang in his bones like a bell. He opened another, then another, each one a sketch, a moment, a memory. Not his own, and yet strangely familiar. One showed a ship at sea, ablaze with light. One showed a girl releasing a lantern into the sky. One showed the lighthouse itself, bathed in golden mist. These were not just drawings. They were dreams. Someone had stored them here, saved them, and whoever it was, they'd chosen him to find them. A quiet creak from above made him look toward the stairwell. He wasn't alone anymore. In the days that followed, Elias barely left the lighthouse. He read bottle after bottle, scroll after scroll. The world outside faded. The waves, the village, even the passing of time. He dreamed differently now, deeper. Sometimes he would fall asleep reading and wake up gasping, the taste of sea air in his mouth, as though he had lived the dream himself. He saw faces, names. He saw a boy in the 1800s lighting the same lantern he did now, a girl dancing barefoot on the cliffs, a warship sinking in fog, a single hand reaching upward. Were they memories, fantasies, messages? He didn't know, but he felt connected, not just to the place, but to something larger, a web of dreams carried by the sea. Then, one morning, he found his own name on a bottle. Elias Wren, June 14th, 1995. His hands shook. He opened it. Inside, a sketch of a boy, himself, years ago, sitting by a campfire, telling a story to a girl with wind in her hair. He remembered it instantly. It had been his sister. She had vanished that year, lost to the sea. They never found her body, only her necklace, washed ashore, tangled in kelp. Suddenly, it all made sense. The silence in his life, the pull to the lighthouse, the loneliness. He had not chosen this place. It had chosen him. The bottles weren't just dreams. They were fragments of lost souls, people the sea had claimed, voices that hadn't finished speaking. And he was their keeper, their light, their last chance to be remembered. He began recording them, carefully, one by one. He lit the lantern each night, not just for ships, but for souls, drifting in the dark. The lighthouse had become a doorway, a place between waking and sleep, memory and forgetting. He was no longer alone. He was a part of something eternal. Years passed. The village forgot about Elias. The lighthouse still glowed, but no one saw him again. Until one night, stormy, wild, the lantern flickered out for the first time in decades. When they finally climbed the tower, they found no trace of him, only a sealed bottle on the desk, marked, "For whoever comes after." Inside, a scroll. Not a drawing this time, but a letter. "If you are reading this, then I am gone. Or perhaps I've simply gone home. I was the keeper of the light, but I did not tend it alone. I tended the dreams of those who were lost, those forgotten. And in doing so, I remembered myself. The sea is not empty. It listens. And sometimes, it answers. Like the lantern, keep it turning. Someone out there still needs it. And perhaps one day, you will too." To this day, on some nights when the fog is thick and the moon is full, travelers on the coast swear they see a figure in the tower, a flicker of light, a whisper in the wind. And if you sleep nearby, especially with your window open, you may dream of things you've never seen. A girl on a cliff, a boat made of stars, a lighthouse glowing gold at the edge of the world. They say the sea never forgets, and neither does the light. Good night. You are safe. You are remembered, and the lighthouse is still shining, just for you.